What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 7 of Rebuilding Chelsea here in Football Manager 2017. And today I have for you guys a live commentary of a top of the table clash as we will be taking on Reading at Stamford Bridge. Since the last episode, it's been a little while, and I will say now, if you missed the last episode, please go check it out. It was a massive game for us. It was against Manchester United in the EFL Cup. It was over 2 legs. It was a pretty lengthy episode, but there was lots of good content, 2 pretty epic matches. And since then, we've had a fair bit happen. Some stuff that I didn't think would happen as well. We'll get into that, I think, immediately. And it really revolves around transfers and transfers on the outs. So if we just have a look at kind of the windows, you'll notice in the top left, there's quite a big signing there. But if we just look here, you can see some sales and some kind of purchases. So going into transfer deadline day, I knew that I wanted to sign Marcus Rashford. He'd scored a hat-trick against us in the episode. I want to use a lot of good young players, and I know for some people it's perhaps not their cup of tea, the fact that I am signing a lot of the best young players in Football Manager with this series. I feel like, you know, it's a beta save, it's a bit of a mess around. The other thing worth noting is with me, if you watch a lot of my videos, you'll know that I very rarely manage massive teams, so I probably won't get much of a chance to experience these players myself besides with this series. And Marcus Rashford is one of those players I'm particularly curious about, obviously, after his recent kind of rise, I guess, through the ranks at Manchester United. But as you can see, we had to pay £45 million for him. The other transfer we made on deadline day was George Thorne, who we picked up from Swansea City. His signing will become a little bit more clearer in just a second. And as you can see here, Rashford, a very, very good striker who's had a very, very good start to his time at the club. But on the outs, we needed to get in some money, and originally I thought it was going to be Kurt Zouma who I had to sell. However, Napoli came in with an offer for Rob Holding. Of course, Rob Holding, been a very good player for us this year, only joined us in the summer from Arsenal for £12 million. And they bid £40 million, which pretty much covered the entirety of the costs, of course, for Marcus Rashford, and seemed like kind of too good of a deal to turn down. And the issue I really have with Rob Holding is he's an amazing player, but my coaches were telling me he is kind of already at his best. You can see here his potential ability and current ability are the same. I was being told he probably isn't going to improve that much more, and that, whilst he's good now, I'm going to be aiming for a better player than him in the future. And the other reason I decided to sell him, actually, was the fact that Christensen, who is our centre-back, is probably a better player in terms of in the future. You can see Holding's 22, Christensen's 21. If we just look at their reports, you can see Christensen tipped to have a bit more potential. 2 very similar players in a lot of ways, both consistent performers, both internationals, both have the potential to be Premier League kind of centre-backs. You can see in Christensen's sense, he's already ready for first-team football in the Premier League. And so in selling Rob Holding, it just meant that Christensen, instead of playing in midfield, gets to play in his preferred role. And actually, he's really excelled playing at centre-back alongside Kurt Zouma. If we just look at his form here, you can see the different positions he's played. And prior to playing at centre-back, he was struggling for the season. You know, he was struggling to break a 7.0. But playing at centre-back for us, you can see an 8.9, an 8.7, a 7.9, a 7.4, a 7.3. He really has been fantastic at centre-back, and it's been really that sale. As much as it hurt perhaps a little bit to let go of one of our best young English players, I feel like it was probably worth it in the end. The reason I picked up George Thorne, of course, was because Christensen was playing centre-mid for us, so I did need a bit of backup in the centre-mid position. We got George Thorne for a very modest fee of £1.6 million from Swansea. A bit of a bargain, really. He's probably only really a championship player, but I pretty much brought him in for this one season just so he can be a bit of backup in the midfield department until we inevitably need to strengthen up a little bit more going into the Premier League next year. So that was kind of the deadline day stuff. We did let a few other players go. Matt Miyazaga. Answers on a postcard. American viewers are going to tell me that it's really simple to say, and it probably is. I just can't read. But we let him go to Fenerbahce for £3.9 million. He's an okay centre-back, but we just have far better options, and at 22 he didn't do anything for me. So ultimately, kind of with deadline day done, we got rid of one of our best young defenders. However, we signed one of the best young English players in the game. And Marcus Rashford, since he's come in, he's got 6 goals in 4 league games, and he got a hat-trick on his debut, which, speaking of kind of his debut, we'll come on to it. It was against Brighton shortly. Since the last episode, though, which was the game against Manchester United, we've played a few games. We played Birmingham in the FA Cup. We drew with them 1-1 in the home leg before going away from home and smashing them 5-0. So that was a good little performance there. In the league, disappointingly, we drew against Blackburn Rovers 1-1. This was a really annoying game to to lose, to be honest. It went down to the last minute. We were a goal up. They had a man sent off. We were in complete control, really. They got a penalty. They missed the penalty. But unfortunately for us, Shayan Harrison getting the rebound ensured that Blackburn got a share of the spoils. Either way, moving on from that, the first game under, I guess, Marcus Rashford's leadership and with him leading the team as our kind of striker, he scored a hat-trick. A great debut for him. All of the goals coming in relatively quick succession. Jordan Ibe and Odegaard also chipping in with a little bit of a contribution. And yeah, that was one of the best wins we've had this year. As I mentioned, we then went on and won in the FA Cup. Odegaard got a hat-trick in this game. Britt Assombalonga and Jordan Ibe getting the other goals in that game. 2-2-0 wins against Rotherham. Marcus Rashford grabbing both in that game, and then against Ipswich with Zuma and Masonda getting the goals, ensured that we kind of went back on the straight and narrow. Recently we played in the FA Cup 5th round where we drew 1-1 against West Brom, so that is going to a replay which will precede today's game. And well, we also played Nottingham Forest where we collapsed, having got 2 early goals in the second half. We really let things slip, and ultimately Forest probably came out deserved victors. They were a plucky team. They caused us problems when we played them earlier on in the season, if I remember correctly. I think we may have even lost to them then. Yeah, you can see we did 1-0. So they're a good team, but at the same time that was a little bit disappointing. So today we take on Reading. They are second in the league. They're 15 points behind us. So if we could go 18 points clear with 4 games remaining, it would put us in an absolutely fantastic position. In terms of the goal this year of trying to exceed 100 points, it's doable. If we want to beat Reading's record for kind of total points, which is 106, we can only afford to lose 1 more game in the Championship in our remaining 13 games. So it's going to be a pretty big ask for us. But hopefully we can maybe make it happen. I definitely feel like to get 100 points has got to be the minimum aim. If we just look at the league last year, of course, Newcastle, a very dominant side, you can see that they themselves got 102 points. So I'd at least like to do slightly better than Newcastle did last year. Of course, we have had a drastically kind of changed squad over the course of this year, but at the same time, it's a team that I think should be capable of smashing the 100-point mark, if I'm being honest. Anyway, looking at our team for today's game, we're going to play the 4-2-3-1. It's pretty much at full strength. We have no injuries to speak of, which is absolutely fantastic because we have had a few injuries throughout the season pretty much. So this is one of the few times where we have everyone fit. I've got a full kind of choice, I guess, when it comes to who exactly I want to play. And well, in goal for today's game, we're going with Predrag Rajkovic. The Serbian keeper, been absolutely fantastic for us. 22 years old, top player. Recently signed a new contract as well for 4 more years, which is absolutely fantastic. At left back, we have Nathan Ake. The Dutchman really has improved a lot this year. It's kind of exceeded my expectations just how much he's improved from a technical standpoint, but also just his attributes as a whole have been fantastic. Had a very good season so far. Not a load of assists to his name, but he's been good for us. At the centre-back positions, as I mentioned, Christensen and Zuma, the men there. Christensen, the Dane, lots of opportunities for him in the centre-back position. And to be honest, he's a fantastic centre-back and he's really kind of developed well. And he's formed a new partnership quite nicely with Zuma. You know, there was a bit of a risk with me losing one of my first-choice centre-backs that Zuma, you know, he might suffer a little bit without the play, developed a relationship with kind of in the centre of defence, but the transition over has been fairly smooth all in all. Anyway, at right-back we go with Iorfa. He's had a very good year, the Nigerian. I really like this guy. It's just a shame his crossing and dribbling and perhaps some of his attributes going forward aren't that little bit better. But at the same time, he's done a fantastic job for us at right back, and I'm hoping he's going to give another great performance for us today. In the centre mid positions, we have Will Hughes and Anoma, which is a duo that I really rate. Obviously, Will Hughes playing a lot for England, 22 years old, is playing as a centre mid defend, which is not where he'd like to play, but it's kind of where he best suits our current team. Alongside him, as I said, we've got Anoma, 20 years old, had a very good year so far this year, developed a ton, looks like a very exciting prospect for the future. Out on the right-hand side in the inside forward position, we go with Marcus Rashford, although Rashford and Kelechi have been kind of interchanging, I guess, between who plays as a striker and who plays as the inside forward. In the centre attacking mid position, we go with Martin Odegaard, who has 10 goals and 5 assists in, well, what is it, 26 league games? It's not a bad little return for a midfielder, really. Out on the left, Charlie Masonda, back to full fitness. His injury really has hampered him a little bit this year, however, of course, was out for quite a long time with a broken ankle. That said, he's always been good when he's been playing, and I'm hoping that with the remainder of the season, he can stay injury-free and hopefully continue to improve as a player. And up top for today's game, we go with Kelechi Iheanacho as our lone forward, the Nigerian in good form of late, and I'm hoping that he can do fairly well for us. So anyway, that's the team as a whole. I'm hoping, as I said, that we can just win against Reading, you know, take that lead at the top up to 18 points. We've got a good chance to do that here with, well, not that many games left, really. So yeah, let's get into it. People might be wondering, Jack, why aren't you doing the West Brom kind of FA Cup replay? The reason I'm doing this game is because I feel like it's quite a significant one in terms of extending our league at the top. The other thing is, West Brom, not a particularly exciting team to watch play football in real life. I don't feel like it's a particularly exciting fixture as far as the FA Cup goes. Of course, if we beat them, I will probably do kind of the next kind of match, whoever it's against, in the next round of the FA Cup, which would be I want to say the 6th round now, which would be getting fairly far into the tournament. But right now, it's still early days. The FA Cup, I wouldn't say it's not a priority for me, but really my main focus is the league and obviously making sure players are fit for the game today. So yeah, let's see how we get on. Of course, a bit of a change. Christensen at centre-back, perhaps got to show you guys what he's made of. Also, of course, looking for a good performance from Marcus Rashford out in the right attacking midfielder position. You may have noticed the formation has changed a little bit. I've kind of been fiddling around with things. One thing I was experiencing was the fact that our fullbacks on the attack duty were perhaps pushing up a little bit too much for my liking and getting caught out. So I've actually switched them back to the support duty. But they do still have the instruction to look for the overlap. So you will see them get into fairly advanced areas. But one thing it does do is it prevents the fullback on the opposite side of the pitch pushing up quite as far as they were in our kind of previous system. So if you don't know, the fullbacks were originally set on attack, which kind of meant that if the ball was coming down the right hand side, Nathan Ake would still be bombing on forward, which I wasn't such a massive fan of. It sometimes left us a little bit open at the back, so we've changed things there. Either way, we're on the attack here. Kelechi turns his man, tucks it home, the number 9, a lovely finish for him, his 19th goal of the season. And, well, Odegaard with the assist. Nice little bit of build-up play there. Good little passing move. Finishing was quite nice as well. And, well, look at it. Odegaard through to Kelechi. One touch on the turn. Gets his body between the defender and him. And slots it in off the post. A delightful little finish there, really. And, well, he has a right to celebrate that goal. That was such a sweet strike. And, well, hopefully that can be a sign of things to come. Although they're on the attack immediately. They hit the woodwork, but this time, for Reading, it goes out and we are let right off the hook. We got exposed there. The defence cut open by that through ball. And perhaps Reading will be disappointed they didn't do that little bit more with it. Ultimately, however, 1-0 up. We're looking very good at the moment. Possession all over it. 64% in our favour, just not quite creating enough chances. And whilst the game remains at just the 1 goal, I'm a little bit kind of paranoid because, as we saw just a second ago, Reading very capable of perhaps breaking us down, playing one big ball up and catching us right out. Either way, we're on the attack here, or we were until we gave away the ball. The corner got cleared, but now we need to deal with it. We need to transition back into defence. It's McCleary cutting inside on his right peg, skews it way wide of the mark. We are let off again, I guess you could say. We were caught a little bit short at the back, overcommitting perhaps in the attack, but we are on the attack again. In Masonda, Anoma inside, almost fell to Rashford, but now McCleary again going to have some space to roam into. And you can kind of see here how I can't click on him, how Iorfa, the fullback, was dropping back into position. When we had the kind of right back on the attack duty, he would have been far too high up the pitch, with obviously the ball being in the kind of opposite side of the final third. So it's kind of nice just to have the fullbacks on the support duty to kind of solve that. Anyway, looking at the ratings so far, Kelechi having a good game, Christensen having a good game. In fact, it's been a relatively good game. We're playing the team in second, so it's never going to be easy. That said, we do have, at least in my opinion, a significantly better squad. So I'd like to see us stamp our authority on this game a little bit more in the second half. You can kind of see, just looking at the stats, there is a golfing quality between our side and theirs. We've created a lot of chances and had a lot of the ball, but we want to be a bit more clinical with it. We want to put on a clinic if we can and really show people just how good we are in the final third. Looking at it, Marcus Rashford not having the greatest game. Part of me wants to swap him and Kelechi around just to see if that causes any problems in the final third. I'm going to make another change. Musonda's not had the greatest of games, so I'm going to take him off and bring on Jordan Ibe. We have also got the option of Bertrand Traore, but I think I'm just going to go with the 1 sub for now. Ibe, he's not the craziest kind of advanced playmaker out on the left-hand side, but his pace really troubles teams. And he is kind of capable of kind of splaying out the passes and acting, I guess, as a playmaker, despite the fact, perhaps when you compare him to Charlie Musonda, he's not quite on the same level. Either way, we are on the attack here before the tactical changes even come into effect. If Musonda scores, maybe I'm going to cancel the changes. But right now, some nice sustained possession here. Can we get the ball forward? Iorfa looking for options. Back to Zuma now, but we are holding the ball nicely. We're moving it around exceptionally well. And now Marcus Rashford into the middle. Kelechi Iheanacho scores again. And, well, it's the Rashford Kelechi partnership there. The two players who, of course, play for rival Manchester clubs in real life, they get to link up well here. And, well, two similar players, I guess, in terms of how they operate and how they kind of feature in either Manchester club. But we get to see them synergise for Chelsea here in FM. And, well, that was a lovely little goal. Intelligent run by Kelechi, nice ball in by Rashford to the near post. And, well, we're going to swap them round now and see if Rashford can have a go in the final third, maybe get a goal or two himself as a striker. But 2-0 up, Reading just really not at the races right now. We've been, well, dominant, it's fair to say, from the start. And, well, we're going to have a set piece here. Odegaard, disappointing ball by him, but he will get the ball back into the mixer. Cleared away, but only as far as Orfer. And, well, maybe we have another chance here. Anoma, Zuma, Kelechi, options inside, passes it to Jordan Ibe, who gets dispossessed, but the ball finds its way back out with Kelechi, who, of course, is now playing right attacking mid. Ibe to Ake. Can he finish it, the left back? He can finish it. An unlikely goal scorer. It's his second goal of the season. It's a nice little move by him. And, well, Nathan Ake, former Reading man. I think he had a loan spell, actually, at Reading. And, well, he's the man to get forward and get the goal. You can see Jordan Ibe playing as that advanced playmaker. Obviously, has the play narrow instruction, gives room for the fullback to kind of wander in. And I talked about the fact Nathan Ake had really improved this year. And, well, now we're seeing just an example of that. A really nice finish by the left-back there. Takes his rating to an 8.3. And, well, against the team in second, we're looking very, very dominant, which is really nice to be able to say. It reminds me a little bit of the game we had against Fulham a few episodes ago now, you know, before Christmas, where we really showed them what we were made of. We still have 2 more subs to do. Our centre mids are looking a little bit tired. I'm going to bring on Loftus-Cheek and I think I'm going to make one more change. I'm going to take off Martin Odegaard and bring on Bertrand Traore. Traore, of course, always capable of banging in a goal, has done it a lot on and off the bench for us. And, well, maybe he can add to his seasonal tally with just 10 minutes remaining. It's kind of what he does, Bertrand Traore, to be fair. Set piece to defend here if we can. We're not going to defend it. That's annoying. I would have liked to have kept a clean sheet. But it's Sutherland with the goal. And 9 minutes left. 2-goal margin. We should be fine. Should be. But we'll be looking to maybe do a little bit better. The ball hits the post. The man on the post should perhaps just deal with it a little bit better. Rajkovic makes a mare of it himself. And, well, it's a goal, I guess. It wasn't a particularly pretty goal, but let's hope we can respond now. We are on the attack again. Jordan Ibe playing that playmaker role to Rashford. Obviously, a £45 million transfer, 40 million up front, 5 million over 48 months. We're expecting some fireworks from the boy. And, well, he has got 6 goals in 4 games. He hasn't scored yet today. Turns his man, ball into Iorfa, ball to the back post, and, well, Bertrand Traore. I talked about the fact he likes to score on off the bench. He's done it again. It's his 13th of the season. He just loves to do it. And it's the right back Iorfa who frequently gets involved in the play with the assist. A lovely little ball in. And, well, Traore, playing as the kind of attacking midfielder on attack, finds his way into the box and finds himself with, well, the ball on a plate for him to get another goal for the season. 4-1 here. And, well, Reading have been made to look distinctly average by us today. 64% possession, a good performance, an expected performance in some ways. You know, there's a... I want to say a degree of expectation that we should be thrashing most teams in the Championship, but Reading are a team in good form, and so to win against them in this kind of manner is really, really pleasing, and I can't really fault the team in any regard. Just a shame perhaps that Rashford didn't get a goal. I mentioned the fact he had 6 goals in 4 league games going into this. So for him not to score today, a little bit of a rarity, but it finishes 4-1. A great little performance at Stamford Bridge, and well, we can be very happy with the football we've played. Players love the team talk. Looking at the results, it looks like Huddersfield may have slipped up as well, which is only going to increase our gap at the top. They actually lost against Forest. Fulham, on the other hand, how did they get on? I'm going blind. I did see Fulham a second ago. Send help. Maybe they didn't play. Maybe I'm hallucinating. Either way, they are still way behind us now. 76 points from 34 games. Realistically now, at, what, 28 points? No, not 28. 18 points clear. We should be safe in terms of getting promotion. I may well livecom the last game of the season, and maybe if we go through in the FA Cup, I'll do that too. I kind of feel like at this point, these league games are kind of a given. So next episode, I will either join you guys for the FA Cup 6th round, or I may join you either for the last game of the season, or the kind of the game that decides if we win the title or not. Obviously, sometimes with games that win you the title, they kind of just happen really suddenly and you can't kind of account for it. So we'll see how things go. Either way, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. Let me know what you make of the Marcus Rashford transfer. I obviously appreciate for some people it's not really what they like to see in FM, me just signing a load of Wonderkids. But I feel like with this game, you should play it how you want. And, well, with me, I don't ever manage big teams. So it's very often that I play against these players when they're in their prime and I don't have a chance to sign them at all. So to have kind of a hands-on experience with some of these players early on in FM17 is something that I'm kind of enjoying at the moment. So yeah, that's all from me, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully I'll see you guys next time, either for the FA Cup 6th round or the end of season live comp. And yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.